such a powerful piece of writing. It stayed with me for a long time after I read it. I think it just connected with so many people in Ireland, and it's so seemingly simple, but yet it's so complex when you begin to investigate it and talk about it and like try and make it into a film. And I really wanted to work with people that I kind of know and trust on this film, because I know we all needed to speak the same language. So, working with Eileen, working with Enda, working with Tim, people that I know and trust and have like a long history with, it was really, really important. And I'm very happy with it.
So you should be, yeah. And you clearly got such a great team around you. And Eileen, for yourself as well, what were obviously, friends with Cillian and worked with them before, what was it particularly about Eileen's character for you and the project as a whole that made you say yes?
I think Clare's work in particular is very magnetic. Her short stories, her detail, and her unflinching writing of not necessarily the nicest characters, and yet they're people that we all see ourselves in. So that for me was hugely important to kind of honour that. Obviously getting the chance to do something with Cale was very important, and Enda too. And I think being able to, because of our history with Disco Pigs as a play, being able to honour what we both can bring to a project and play at similar levels, then that becomes exciting.
Yeah, because you have been friends for years from what I read. Yeah, where and when did you first meet? Was it Disco Pigs, and how did that friendship obviously aid those very sort of silent but powerful performances between the two of you?
Yeah, so we met on day one of rehearsals with Disco Pigs. We didn't know each other beforehand, but then that was a very intense rehearsal time, very intense summer, very intense year and a half.
Year and a half we did it for, yeah. And it was my first ever job.
Yeah. And getting to play those roles of these deeply intense teenagers who adored each other and relied on each other and had to pull away from each other was a phenomenal experience, really, and has led to this.
Yeah.
And it's only because of that we can have the relationship that then doesn't need anything said on camera. I think.
Yeah, because like the Bill and Eileen in the film, they're together for 20 years, five daughters and all that, and it's very hard to we can do it, but when you get it for free, it's a bonus.
Yeah.
You can just kind of feel it. And Tim, when he put the camera on it, he said he felt it instantly. So we're very lucky with that. It was kind of meant to be.
Yeah, and similarly with Enda, working together as friends and getting him on board, was that really important for you? Was he your first choice, I imagine, as a writer, and to sort of reminisce over old times working together?
Yeah, well, we've both worked with Enda since Disco Pigs over the years, and he's not here, so I can talk about it. But like we were talking about earlier,
never liked him.
When we were kids, we didn't know that he was going to become this. He was the writer of the play, and he was our pal. We didn't know he was going to be this incredibly important, gifted writer, a generational writer. And so yes, he immediately came to mind because we share similar tastes. I know he's a huge Clare Keegan fan. He had read the novel, and he kind of knew that world, and he was very, very faithful and respectful to the novel. And it all happened really, really quickly, but it was the key thing for me is it's trust. Like all of these people, you trust implicitly as friends, but also as creative collaborators.
And you've got some other big name producers. So Matt Damon is a producer and Ben Affleck is executive producer. You know, what's the draw for them, and what do they bring to the project?
Well, I think they're like, they're amazing filmmakers, and they're also writers, so they understand the importance of writing, and like they've been doing this for so long, and they've achieved such amazing success, but they still have exceptional taste in films. And I remember chatting to Matt about this, and he was saying, this is a film that that he would have made in the 90s. Do you know what I mean? Like, they made so many of those great independent films back in the day, and it feels very much like a throwback to that. And it's so fantastic that it's getting a proper theatrical release, and that people are going to see films like this in the cinema. So that's thanks to those guys for paying for it, to Artist Equity.
Oh, that's great. And the film is dedicated to more than 10,000 women who were sent to these institutions, and of course the children taken from them. And we've seen films like this, Philomena and the Magdalene sisters that you were in. How important is it to keep telling these stories?
I think it's only by telling them that we can admit what happened, and to give weight to all the lives that were lost there as well, because they can put a number on it, but actually we'll never know. There were so many forms destroyed, there was so much hidden and buried, including bodies. So we don't know how many babies were sold to America, really. And it's shameful. It's so shameful. It's generational weight we haven't actually figured out yet. But things like this are what's important to kind of allow the pus to come out nearly. You gotta expel it. It's gotta come out to allow people kind of feel seen, I think.
Yeah. Did you get to meet any of the women in preparing this film?
Not directly, but it was funny. Like during the rehearsal, or the audition process, everybody who came in had a story about somebody. Particularly the older actors that came in, every single person had a story. It was not their mother; it was their sister or their auntie. Every single person had a story. And I think, I agree with what Eileen's saying. I think that art has a different way of approaching these sort of collective traumas, you know what I mean? It's a gentler, softer way of approaching it than I think academia or government reports. Do you know what I mean? You can begin to look at it from a distance, I think. Still ask the same questions.
Yeah, and more accessible for more people, right?
Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah. And I was wondering, just sort of on a whole, can you remember exactly where you filmed and what the atmosphere was like on set? Did you get much time to spend together as a cast and crew when the filming stopped?
We shot in New Ross, where the book is actually set. So
that was a gift in itself.
Yeah.
That was like an extra character.
It really was, yeah. It was a lovely atmosphere. Tim was it's a lovely, warm, generous, inclusive atmosphere on set with him always. And we did have a bit of crack. Yeah. Because you have to when it's kind of dark material.
Yeah. I just remember there's a particularly intense scene that was just Cillian and I in the bedroom, and very kind of emotional, and it was a very quiet set, whatever. And then came downstairs, and Alan was there, and I didn't know who's the producer, and he popped out from one of the rooms where they had set up a monitor, and he went, "That was really good." And I remember I was like, "Oh yeah, no, but it's easy when you love someone." It just came in, and I went on my way, and I remember thinking, that's so funny, that's the first thing that comes out of your mouth after doing such an intense little scene, So yeah, there was a lovely atmosphere that was very easy to focus and then release from.
Yeah. And it felt secure and safe, I think. I think that's important in these sorts of films.
We also did a great day of Christmas cake making.
Yeah, we did with the girls.
With our daughters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was real, you were making the Christmas cake?
Yeah, we went through, we all met up, and this chef taught us how to make proper Christmas cake.
It was cute, with all these little hands reaching in the bowl, you know. Yeah, it was lovely.
Beautiful. Cillian and Eileen, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey, you guys!
Hey, you guys!
Hey, that's what they all say.
Hey, you guys!
Hey,